You ever drive down the road and you have yourself a little accident? Maybe a spill or a medical emergency you can't discuss in polite company. If any of that gets on your seats, it's not going to be cheap to clean them out again. And if you got your typical seat covers, it's not going to do much. That's why I figured out a way to make seat covers that don't suck out of the humble saddle blanket. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. So what are we working with here? Well, these are just some regular old saddle blankets I bought off of Amazon. And I made these holes with a screwdriver and then chucked the connection rods for my truck's headrests right through them. It was a workable enough solution, but the issue is I don't trust these holes to not get bigger as I throw it in the washing machine to clean it off, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of these extra durable saddle blanket seat covers. So what are we going to do to reinforce these holes? Well, we're going to take these iron-on patches. These are made for, well, fixing holes in clothes. But they're going to suit our purposes for this just fine. And then we're going to take these 3/4 inch grommets. We're going to hammer them through there so that those support struts have something nice and solid to hold on to. All right, so the first step in the process is to cut this piece into 4 centimeter squares. So let me just calibrate my finger gun into those measurements and bang, bang, bang. All right, so next I need to put these little patches on either side of these holes. So once again, calibrating my finger guns to ironing mode, bang. All right, and now with this part of the process done, we're gonna be wanting to add these grommets on each side of the blanket. So one here, and then one here, and one here on that other side. To do that, we're going to be using 2 tools. One of them is this. It's kind of a cylindrical little hammer thing, and the other are these 2 little gizmos. Basically, you put the grommet in there, put your material on top of there, put this through here, and you hammer it through, and it'll cause the grommet metal to crimp around our patch, holding it in place and making that nice solid place for our headrest struts to go into. These tools are actually pretty handy for how relatively, I wouldn't necessarily call them obscure, but I never heard of them before. Where did I get these again? Yeah, I just want to give a special shout out to my homies at Taiyao Shijiao Dengqiu Li Du Bingyan. You guys make good stuff. We're outside here where the audio quality is much better. So let's get ready to punch some holes. We're going to take our hole punch tool here, and I've lined things up to where the top patch is aligned with the bottom patch so that when we hammer our holes, they're both lined up with each other. Now, one disadvantage of hammering so fast is that I'm actually moving too fast to make any sound. So you're just going to have to imagine for yourself a very loud, bangy, tinny noise here. It's probably going to take a couple of minutes for you folks at home to hammer through this. This stuff can be deceptively thick and hard to hammer through. But just keep at it and you should be fine. I also recommend having a small cutting tool so you can cut out those little Oreos, and then as always, make sure you have something underneath your saddle blanket so you're not damaging whatever surface you're banging on. All right, now that we've hammered our holes, let's add some grommets. We're going to take our grommet anvil here and we're going to put it under the first layer like so.
Next, we're going to take this grommet that looks like a hat, and we're going to make sure the top part is shoved nice and cleanly through that hole. Now you're going to want to make sure that the grommet you have layered on top of it is one of these thin ones. It's going to look like this. We're going to get that layered in there nice and tight. And now we're going to put our grommet punch on top there. And just hammer away. And there we go. We have a solid metal hole for our support strut to go through. Nice and strong.
Now the final stress test of our handiwork is going to be to send this thing through the washer and dryer. I recommend washing it by itself. The temperature and cleaning product doesn't really matter, but at least with the brand of blanket that I got, it produced a lot of lint when I washed it with a load of my regular clothes. So, in case you want to bust out the lint roller afterwards, just do it by itself. Seat cover installation beam. Bang! And there we go. We're all done. One of the nice things about this design is if you messed up at all here with the patch and grommet, you can actually hide it under the headrest. No one's gonna see that, no one's gonna know about it except you, and as long as it holds up, you're all good. One thing I would recommend doing to you folks at home is when you're punching your holes, try to bring this part back up. For me, it's fine to have this extra flappy bit, but if you punch the holes somewhere closer up here, you have more space down here for you to make another attachment point by kind of stuffing the extra edge underneath your floorboard. And that keeps this from shifting around as much as you get in and out. Another thing to keep in mind, this is just what I do, is I actually stuff it through this bar here for the seat adjuster so you can still get at that part. Again, just helps the thing stay more secure. And there we go. That's the end of our seat cover creation process. The nice thing about this design is it still functionally works as a saddle blanket. So let's say you're out camping and it gets a little bit colder than you were expecting. You have 1 to 2 extra blankets that you can still use. The grommet holes are nice because, again, let's say you're out camping and you need to make a privacy barrier to say, change before you jump into the river. Well, you now have a blanket with a couple of holes in it that you can string a rope through. Boom, instant curtain. If you have any questions about the creation of these things, or hell, if you want to commission me to make some for you, reach out to me in the comments. Have a good one.